3 games, but was a regular starter when he was a Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year last year, into the starting lineup for Greg Lansing today, Kevin.
Replacing the senior Devontae Brown. We'll see how Brenton Scott reacts, and I really see how Devontae Brown reacts when he enters this game.
For Hofstra, Wanye Green, the huge night yesterday, just 9 off his career high at 26 points, hit 6 3-pointers. Brian Bernardi has had a huge weekend, 10 3-pointers made. Justice Tanksley and Kuhn, the 3 to round out the lineup for Hofstra. Greg Lansing, 3rd season as the head coach of Indiana State, closing in on win number 100. And Joe Mahalik in his 3rd season with Hofstra, and his record 33-38 as mentioned. Between these two programs, first ever meeting, so some early keys to look for, Kevin.
Indiana State obviously has to run the Pride off the 3-point line, but the problem is that opens up driving lanes for them. And for Hofstra, do what you do. You know what your identity is. It's shoot the 3 ball, drive it to the hoops. Also Indiana State, they want to keep this thing at a slower pace than Hofstra does.
Hofstra setting a school record yesterday with their 17 3-pointers made. I mean, Tanksley had 4 makes, misses on the layup. And here they come up the other direction. Indiana State with their first possession of the game in the blue. Hofstra in the white. Bernardi guarding Brenton Scott on the perimeter. Glad you can join us. Danny Lee, Kevin Lehman, Monica Jonigan with you for the first of 2 of South Carolina and Tulsa coming up for the championship game at around 9 Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. Scott, foul line outlet, 4 on the shot clock. Van Soik, the Citadel transfer, runs into trouble, and a shot clock violation helped out by Rokas Gustiz. Before we forget the refereeing trio today, kind of a cool little storyline here. Raymond Styons, late replacement to this crew, working with his son Trey. Trey's just his first year of Division I, and they worked together a game at Old Dominion last week. And Nathan Farrell, the other of the 3 referees for this contest. Here's Bernardi. He's been white hot from long range. School record 8 threes in the season opener.
You can see how Indiana State pushes out Hofstra. They want them to catch the ball outside their comfort zone.
Now he'll pull up in stride and misses this one short, and a rebound trying to go over the top. Rokas Gustiz picks up foul number 1.
Now Gustiz has to be careful. Short bench for Joe Mahalik. Only one other true post player that they can use, and Gustiz has gotten in foul problems in this tournament.
You mentioned Joe Mahalik with only 9 players on the roster here. And the other night in the victory over Florida State, he had 3 foul out, and Denton Kuhn had 4 fouls, and he had another 2. Here's Christian Smith. Smith, a 14-point scorer against Tulsa. Van Soik misses on the 3. Wanye Green watches as it goes out of bounds, and neither team has scored to open up play here in the first minute 35.
That is sometimes typical for the 3rd place game. These 2 teams battled last night late to get in the championship. I expect a slow start, but this will get speeded up once they get the blood flowing and their legs underneath them.
Yeah, you think Hofstra would be more at a disadvantage. They faced South Carolina in the 2nd game in the semifinal last night, a game that ended around 12:30 a.m. local time.
And Wanya Green has played all but 4 minutes in this tournament.
Green
has been the Ironman for Hofstra.
One of the nation's leaders in minutes played a season ago, 38th in the nation, averaged 36 minutes a night for Joe Mahalik last year. Here's Bernardi, and a foul up top, well away from the hoop.
And Brenton Scott's job is to face guard the 3-point shooter, Brian Bernardi, number 14. So watch that matchup, number 4 on number 14. Because Bernardi can ring him up in a hurry and requires very little space to get off that 3 ball.
Steve's the sophomore, setting the screen for Green behind interference. It's tipped out of bounds, and it will stay with the Hofstra Pride, who a season ago was a 20-game winning squad.
Well, you have to like what Indiana State's doing right now. They're getting Hofstra pushed out a little bit farther, allows Indiana State to go below the ball screens.
Nice jump pass from Green to Gustiz, and it just rolls out on him. Hofstra's missed their first 3 shots here tonight. Van Soik, they roll it around, reversing course to Scott. Defense by Bernardi. Entry inside, Murphy against Gustiz. Jump hook with the left hand, that won't fall. And still scoreless, 2.5 minutes in. Here's Denton Kuhn, the third graduate transfer in as many years for Joe Mahalik at Hofstra. Long three for Green. And a different story from last night when Hofstra seemingly could not miss from long range, and now Christian Smith turns it over for the Indiana State Sycamore. So a combined 0 for 5 start for these two teams, and showing a little tired legs, this being the third game in 4 days for these two teams.
That may affect the three-point shooting of Hofstra more than it does Indiana State, as Hofstra, with 51 of their 84 points, came from outside the arc against South Carolina.
Underneath, Gustiz finally breaks the impasse. He had a quiet night for his standards, only 2 points against South Carolina yesterday. It was the guard play that provided a lot of the scoring, Tanksley and Green and Bernardi.
And the assist by Denton Kuhn. He has been exceptional in this tournament without scoring a lot of points. Done all the little things to allow the Pride to get victories.
Brandon Murphy gets the first 2 for Indiana State, and now Gustiz has to put it on the deck. Here's Tanksley firing from 3. That is the name of the game for Hofstra, but it has not fallen so far tonight. Here's Everett Clemens. Clemens, something that Greg Lansing sorely needed after Brenton Scott did a lot of the ball handling a year ago. Christian Smith able to sink the jumper, coming in at 12.5 points per game.
Well, Smith has been a rock for Greg Lansing at the defensive end as well as the offensive end, and has cleaned up the glass for the Sycamores. 7 rebounds per game for the senior.
Underneath, off glass, in and drawing the foul. Rokas Gustiz will have a chance to complete the three-point play, already outscoring what he did in the loss last night for Hofstra against South Carolina. It's a 4-4 tie, early goings here from the Paradise Jam. Game 4-4, Indiana State Hofstra. The story from yesterday, Hofstra 17 for 34 from three-point range, Kevin. New program record. Here's how it looked.
And they were from long range. As mentioned, 51 of their 84 from downtown by the Pride. Wanye Green filled it up.
And it went on like this all night long as Hofstra used the three-point ball. They rallied from 12 down to make it a game with South Carolina, but just ran out of gas at the end. School record, as mentioned, 6 for Green, Tanksley and Bernardi 4, Kuhn, Nichols, and Boone a three-pointer apiece. As Gustiz leads it off the front iron, and it remains a 4-4 tie with Indiana State possessing. This is Everett Clemens, the junior from Springfield, Illinois.
Indiana. 6 different players for the Pride knocking in the 3-ball last night.
Hofstra 2 for their first 7. Meanwhile, Indiana State 2 for 4 in the early goings of this one.
Now Devontae Brown back in the lineup for the Sycamores.
Baseline drive for Van Soik, and he gets fouled going to the hoop.
Brown along with Niels Boone-Schoten.
So the line goes Matt Van Soik, redshirt junior from Green Lake, Wisconsin, transferred from the Citadel 2014 there in South Carolina, 14 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, had 11 points per game. The first season was able to make the free throw. He's actually the 8th player in the Citadel history with back-to-back years of 50 or more three-pointers, so it's certainly what Greg Lansing needs, a guy who could stretch the floor and hit the three.
And Van Soik struggled against Tulsa. Did not score a basket. They need him. He's an X factor for their offense because, as you mentioned, kind of a hybrid four-man, can play that 3 position, has great range, and can score inside.
He did have 7 rebounds, but as mentioned, could not get the shot to fall yesterday. It's a 6-4 lead for Indiana State. On the wing, Kuhn for 3, and that three-point shot still slow to get going for Hofstra. 0 for their first 4 from long range. Smith for 3. Oh, he gets it. His 4th 3 ball in the year.
Euro pass back to Smith. Step in 3. High percentage, had his legs underneath him.
5 unanswered for Indiana State.
You see his active hands by Indiana State. High hands recovering on the shooters.
Tanksley the long 3. And now they're 0 for 5 from long range. Clemens cross court to Brown. Gives away his dribble. Devontae Brown, who did not start here today, coming off the bench, averaging 15 points per game. Got a foul against Wanye Green for his first.
Well, there's that quick whistle as you have some contact on the perimeter by Wanye Green. He knew immediately they were going to get the call because he put a forearm on the dribbler.
Clemens comes out, and Grant Prusodder, number 20, takes his spot. Also Everett Clemens on, along with Niels Boone-Schoten.
Well, Greg Lansing likes to start Clemens at that point guard. Now he moves Devontae Brown to that position.
Nice move by Burnett, up and under around Kuhn.
Well, the bench was very good for the Sycamores in that semifinal game. 25 points off the bench for Indiana State. They need that again tonight.
7-0 run Indiana State, making its last 4 shots. Prusodder, the outlet, maybe one too many passes. Green gets right in the lane, going to the hoop and putting it up and in is Devontae Brown, and now it's 9 unanswered. It was a tie game, and now it's a 9-point Sycamore lead, and Joe Mahalik wants an early timeout. As the shooting, certainly something that's been Hofstra's strong suit in this tournament, Kevin, but today it's been slow to start manifesting itself.
So they're 0 for 4 from the three-point line, and just ringing in and out, and you hit the nail on the head there, Danny. Tired legs from last night. Hofstra did not have a shoot-around today. They just stayed in the hotel, went over some film, and walked through some things because they wanted to save their legs. 3 games in 4 days. For a team that relies on that long-range shooting, difficult.
We've been talking about Joe Mahalik, who played at LaSalle for Paul Westhead before he went and took the Lakers job. And we asked him about the run-and-gun style that became associated with the Lakers. Westhead started at Magic's rookie year, and then Pat Riley took over a couple of years later and then initiated the whole Showtime run-and-gun Lakers. But what Joe Mahalik said, yeah, it was the last year. I didn't play that much once Paul Westhead started picking up the tempo. And finally the three-point shot goes down for Tanksley to make it 13-7.
Now that's the danger of full court pressure by Indiana State, is you got to find the shooters when you come out of your pressure. It opens up the court, and Tanksley takes advantage for the Pride.
Boone-Schoten in the corner, and he knocks down an 18-footer.
Now great penetration by the sophomore, Britton Scott.
Tanksley trying again. Oh, wow, now he's the hot hand. Here we go again. Wind them up and watch them go. It's 15-10. Indiana State with the ball in the lead. Brown at the foul line. And they got to travel on the opposite side. And the Sycamores will give away possession. Brenton Scott from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the redshirt sophomores mentioned. Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year a season ago at 11.5 points per game. Shot 44% from three-point range, which was 5th in the conference.
Well, Dan, he took the Valley by storm. Brenton Scott, no one knew much about him. And he, as you mentioned, Freshman of the Year, and deservedly so.
Bernardi on the move, the outlet, this to Nichols. His three a little long, Tanksley tips it. It'll be out of bounds, and it will stay with Hofstra in front of the Indiana State bench.
Now you've seen Hofstra a little bit more attack off the dribble, drawing in help side defenders, opening up that three-point shot.
Well, let's go back to a stat we talked about last night. Greg Lansing's teams, when they hold the opposition to 63 or fewer, almost unbeatable, 66-8, and that's the style of play that you're going to see in the Missouri Valley Conference. That's the way he wants these games to play out. And he's got his hands full, like we talked about in the Open, Kevin. A three-point shooting team in Hofstra, averaging almost 90 a game.
Well, Danny, with the rule changes and the effort to speed up the game, I don't know if that 63 and under is going to be a good number to go by, because we're seeing higher scoring games, more free throws shot, more points being scored.
Wanye Green, last night's dynamo, missing his first 2 shots now. Nichols up the floor, and it looks like he's going to be ruled the aggressor. Remember what Monica said in the Open, fouled out in the first 2 games. Now picks up his first here with 12-14 to go in the first.
Oh, Nichols fouled out with 10 minutes of play in that first night's action. Now, the Indiana State team, you look at the Valley, you've got Wichita State, nationally ranked, Northern Iowa just beating North Carolina. Greg Lansing, the last 5 years, Indiana State has the 3rd most wins, trailing the Shockers and the Panthers in the Valley. They've been a very consistent program.
Brenton Scott, another turnover for Indiana State, and their lead down to 5, and Hofstra will have the basketball when we return. 11:58 to go here in this consolation game from the Paradise Jam. Father and son refereeing duo here in this consolation game. On the left, Raymond Steins, 30-year ACC referee, getting a chance to ref with his son. That's Trey on the right, his first year at the Division I refereeing level in NCAA basketball. They reffed their first game together at a game in Old Dominion last week, just the second time they've been paired up. And right here in Paradise, so a cool little story going into this one. All right, Hofstra back with the basketball. The first time today we'll see DeJour Bowie as he handles the rock and gives up to Brian Bernardi. On there with Nichols, Green, and Rokas Gustiz.
Joe Mahalik has gone 7 deep on his lineup. Indiana State already 9 deep.
A lot of pressure on Green early, which was the name of the game pregame for Greg Lansing. Nichols gets his first two, though, on the putback, and it's down to a 3-point lead for Indiana State as the Sycamores now see some zone defense from the Pride.
1-3-1 soft trap that Hofstra likes to use.
3-point shot off the mark for Clemens. Headman pass, Gustis batted down, taken by Green. Hofstra basketball. Up top Nichols, they roll it around to Bowie, the freshman from New York.
And no double on Gustis. They don't want to leave the 3-point shooters.
Gustis over Boonskoten, taps it out, and it goes to Green. Nice play by the Lithuanian. Big man underneath Bernardi, can't leave him alone. This time he's long, though. And Clemens has it for Indiana State. Sycamores hurrying up the floor, nearing the halfway point of this opening half. Taken away by Bowie. It's a track meet between himself and Devontae Brown. Goes up over Brown. Not to be as Scott grabs the rebound. 3-on-2 break. Burnett alone for 3. That's long. Tipped out, and it's snared by DeJour Bowie, the freshman from the Bronx, Old New York City. He's a senior.
Well, that was the first miss by the bench of Indiana State. They were 3 for 3. That may be a factor here as Indiana State can go deeper in the bench. We keep talking about third game in 4 days.
Yeah, Hofstra shooting only 28%. Brian Bernardi, while we don't see too many misses like that from him, or at least we have not seen that this weekend. They're 1 for their last 8 now. On the baseline is Boonskoten in front of his parents who made the trip from the Netherlands. The scoop not there. Gustis grabs a rebound, but it looks like it'll be a foul against Wanye Green. And now on to Monica Jonigan.
Danny Wood, Coach Mahalik is telling his Pride in the huddle is he doesn't like the way their defense is moving. Too slow. He said, I don't know why we're moving so slow, but you cannot let these Sycamores turn the corners. He wants them active feet and make sure they're in a good stance so these guys don't turn the corner on them as you saw the big guy do get inside, Danny.
What do you think, Kevin?
They've got to get some pressure on Sycamores, and they've got to score some in transition. The threes they hit were transition threes. Indiana State is really good if they can set their half-court defense.
Bernardi and Green are combined 0 for 6 so far today. That's not good news for Hofstra.
And Tanksley's not gotten loose. He got that early one in transition.
And Mondre Rickman, who played some solid minutes for Indiana State yesterday, comes on, misses the shot, and it looks like he is whistled for the foul as well. His first.
Well, Rickman, just a freshman. He's 6'9", 220. Greg Lansing has high hopes for this young man. Once he learns the game, puts a little more upper body strength on, be an excellent player for the Sycamores. Get some limited minutes today, but again, we see Indiana State going deep into their bench.
Well, the Sycamores have a scoring drought of 3 minutes, 40 seconds plus, but Hofstra's 1 for their last 8. And this is something we've seen on the final day of competition at the Paradise Jam the last couple of years, especially. Later start times, tired legs. See if that continues. Tanksley can't hit the 3, and up the floor comes Indiana State. Leading the charge is Brenton Scott. He'll flip the Van Soik underneath the Rickman. Gives away his dribble down the lane. The put up is good for Everett Clemens.
An excellent pass by number 41, Rickman, the freshman. Great balance in the post. Caught it, checked it, looked for the defense, delivered it.
And Hofstra continues to struggle, and it's a track meet now for Indiana State. Inside the arc, Scott's jumper short. Put back up by Christian Smith.
Well, Christian Smith leads the Sycamores in rebounding. Offside rebound position.
Smith the perfect 3 of 3 en route to his 7 points to lead all scorers. Stripped by Van Soik. Hofstra keeps it, and nice block by Rickman on Gustis. Here's Christian Smith all the way to the goal, and a blocking foul against Hofstra's Bowie.
Well, smart move by the senior, Christian Smith, against the freshman. Open court, attack, draw some contact, go to the free throw line. Now, last night, Indiana State left a ton of points from the free throw line. They struggled to connect. Just 14 of 27.
Yeah, Tulsa not much better, shooting over 50% themselves, but this one rolled in from Christian Smith.
Christian Smith used a little body English to get that ball to slide through the net.
Christian 12 for 14, now make it 13 of 15 on the year from the line. He's got 9 points. Scott will come out replaced by Devontae Brown. And now Indiana State has scored 6 in a row over a span of just over 40 seconds to take back a 9-point lead.
Well, Indiana State is shooting 53% from the field. Hofstra has struggled at 23%.
One for their last 11. Onto the floor is Justin Wright Foreman, 4 points yesterday. Strip taken, up ahead to Van Soik, and he puts it home.
Joe Mahalik has seen enough. The pressure defense from Indiana State is creating some offense.
An 8-0 run for Indiana State, and they rocket back on top by 11, and the Terre Haute faithful, they're happy right now, up by 11, 8:01 to go. Remember, coming up next, we conclude our coverage from the Paradise Jam in the U.S. Virgin Islands as Tulsa takes on South Carolina in the championship game, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Boy, I got to give props to the truck. Hurricane Shaq, I love it. Look what he's done in the Paradise Jam so far. 31-point game against Ohio in the quarterfinals. Coming back with another big game yesterday. He was named as the American Athletic Conference Player of the Week this week, and why not? Look at those numbers. Huge, Kevin.
Mikael Harrison out of Kansas City, lightly recruited, is playing at all league level in this tournament.
I guess the key now for Hofstra as we come back in out of timeout, Kevin, is can the Pride find their shot? You see the numbers on your screen. They aren't pretty for Hofstra's bread and butter.
And on the bench has been Wanya Green, who has logged almost all the minutes here. But Joe Mahalik elected to go with the freshman, and the freshman delivers.
Bowie ends that 8-0 run from Indiana State to make it an 8-point game. And here's Brown scanning the terrain as he flips it over to the wing where Christian Smith hangs out. There's Brown spinning on Tanksley. Nice outlet to Clemens all alone.
Now Wanya Green with 2 personal fouls. We'll see how long that Coach Joe leaves him on the bench.
Brian Bernardi fouled out on the perimeter. Bernardi came in 18 of 27 from three-point range, but is missing both his three-point shots tonight. And Wanya Green, who we talked about, had not had a whole lot of rest coming in, only resting 4 minutes prior to today's game. Second active leading scorer in Division I coming into tonight's game. The 2 fouls, certainly a concerning note for Joe Mahalik. Bowie triggering another 3, but that one came off the mark. And with 7 minutes to go, here comes Indiana State.
Wanya Green has the keys to the Hofstra bus, and it runs much smoother with him on the court.
Brown defense nicely. Here comes Denton Kuhn surging up the floor. Tanksley will rise, fire again, and he can't hit. Tanksley's now 2 for 7 on his own mark. And Everett Clemens out to control the transfer from Vincennes University, one of the top junior colleges in the land. Third-team JC All-American a year ago. On the wing is Smith, and that's short. Denton Kuhn, the graduate transfer from Princeton, just under 12 points per game coming in. Tanksley pushes off, and that's going to be an offensive foul. And now that's Tanksley's second foul. So there's trouble now, once again, Kevin, for Hofstra. Two leading scorers, Green and Tanksley, each with a pair of fouls.
Well, Green and Tanksley, the two who transferred over from Niagara together to join Coach Mahalik. He's going to have to take a seat. This was a short bench to begin with for Hofstra. Only 9 players suited up, and there's two of the best. Going to take a seat for the rest of the half, possibly.
Those two guys came in averaging 35 points per game combined.
Nick Green, preseason Colonial Player Pick of the Year, and Tanksley was preseason first team pick.
Hofstra was surprised many here at the tournament, knocking off Florida State and other athletic players on Friday night. Came back and hung tough with South Carolina. But a slow start to this one, trailing by 8. Remember, they trailed by 12 yesterday to the Gamecocks. They found a way to pull close late before Frank Martin's team was able to pull away.
It's going to be hard for him with those two players, Tanksley and Green, on the bench.
And just realizing it, Rickman turned around in time, but came off a little long on the shot. Here's Brian Bernardi, former transfer from SMU. Around the Gustese screen to the hoop. This time coming in close, but he misses another shot. And now he's 0 for 4. Smith the outlet, Van Soik out where he likes to shoot. Can't get it to go. Fight for the rebound, and it's taken nicely by Christian Smith. Runner in the lane, left-hander, not by Van Soik. Tipped up and in, though, by Rickman.
Rickman, the freshman, giving a lift to the Sycamores.
Hofstra up by double figures. First time since they led by 11 earlier in this contest. Hofstra, or Indiana State leading for the first time since they led by 11. Hofstra won for the last 10, excuse me, Kevin.
The freshman, 41, Rickman, has only logged 41 minutes for the Sycamores coming into this game, and he has played extremely well. There's the quick hands of Christian Smith, and there's the freshman, Rickman. Clean it up.
Well, Coach, you called them the Junkyard Dogs, and that's the embodiment of that kind of play.
Well, I've seen him play for years, Greg Lansing's team. I knew Greg Lansing even as a high school player as he played for his dad in Arlen, Iowa. The uglier the game, the more they like it.
We got a travel and another giveaway for the Sycamores, which today has kind of been the equalizer. 6 turnovers for Greg Lansing's team. Came in just above 10 a game.
And Joe Mahalik, he's trying to survive this half with his 2 leading scorers on the bench. If you keep this thing 10 or under, he'll feel good about it going into halftime and then bring those 2 back out in the second half.
Bernardi, nice backdoor cut. Oh, what a move. Don't tell him he's only a 3-point shooter. Gets his first 2 today.
Well, the freshman, Aquarius Page, got back cut, lost vision. He was exposed on that play.
And Aquarius was on the other side of the court standing all by himself, but his teammates did not see him. Number 32 into the game for Indiana State. And it will be Hofstra basketball. Nichols and Bowie, Bernardi, Kuhn, and Gustese. And check out Brian Bernardi.
Page trying to get up there and deny Bernardi. This is a play we've seen Hofstra use time and time again. As you want to pressure that 3-point shooter out of his range, it opens up, they empty the backside, and the backdoor cut, old school by Hofstra.
Joe Mahalik loves his work ethic, always in the gym, shooting away, and you have seen him the last couple of nights. Certainly evidence of that.
And he talked about modeling his game after Steph Curry. Brian Bernardi said, I was always the smallest guy in the playground. I had to do things to get my shot off against the bigger, stronger players.
Denton Kuhn fades and banks it in out the mid-post, getting his first 2 of the game.
With a graduate transfer from Princeton, there's a lot of little things for Hofstra. Now, Hofstra had some success with this soft 1-3-1 zone. They don't really trap you. They get in the passing lanes and to get you to pick up your dribble.
Indiana State now 1 for their last 7 from the floor. Burnett running out of real estate. Just keeping the dribble alive. Devontae Brown in the corner. Brenton Scott rattles home the 3.
Oh, nice shovel pass out by Boonscoten.
Denton Kuhn coming off that knee injury last year. Three-pointer rattles out for Brian Bernardi. Came in scintillating from three-point range, 18 to 27, but has missed all 4 of his attempts. 3 minutes to go. It's a 9-point lead for the Sycamores, who have the ball. Clemens in among the big men. Can't get it to go. And here comes Hofstra surging up the floor. Kuhn for 3.
The Pride, 3 of 15 from long range after going 17 of 34 last night.
Boonscoten well off.
Now this is a team that's averaging 86 plus points a game. Hofstra, they're stuck at 19 with their 2 leading scorers on the bench.
Jor Bowie, the outlet to Bernardi, feeds it inside to Nichols. Still no Green or Tanks. They both with 2 fouls, trying to do it without their 2 big producers. Rokas Gustiz fouled, and he'll get some free throws when we return on the second foul by Devontae Brown. Stay with us. More to come from the Paradise Jam. Beach zone, and there's a long line for drinks at the Tiki Bar. We put in a sailboat, and yes, mermaids, Kevin. Unprecedented here at the Virgin Islands Paradise Jam.
Well, what is the life expectancy of a mermaid outside of the water?
Wow, I got to go to Wikipedia for that one. Stumped me there. Thanks a lot. Good partner you are. Danny Lee, Kevin Lehman with you. All right, Rokas Gustiz on the line, 2:13 to go in the first half. And Gustiz, well, someone just opened up the door and the tropical winds blew in.
The mermaid was flapping her flipper, but Gustiz hit nothing but the floor in that first one.
And Gustiz has been the only free throw shooter for Hofstra in the game, and he's 0 for 3. Still a 9-point lead. Clemens, Brenton Scott, Murphy back on, Smith, and Burnett the 5. Burnett with the hoop. Basketball to the hoop. Murphy slams it home.
The dribble penetration by Brandon. Murphy gets the finish. And Brandon Burnett handed out the dime.
Only 19 first half points for Hofstra. Very atypical based on what we've seen in the early returns this season, plus 10 on the glass is Indiana State.
They're averaging 89 a game. Hofstra stuck at 19, 2 leading scorers on the bench with 2 fouls each.
Scott, the shovel pass to Clemens.
And we've talked about the rule changes. Joe Mahalik has one less timeout to use as they've been reduced in these new directives this season. So he's afraid to call another one.
And Mahalik only has 2 left. Not even a halftime yet. Bowie and Bernardi has had a tough day. 1 of 6 on the run. We haven't seen too much of Brian Bernardi going to the hoop, and he's had to do that a lot today with Green and Tanksley sidelined with foul trouble. Straightaway 3, Christian Smith off the mark, and it's only Indiana State's struggles from the floor, 2 of their last 11, despite the 13-point lead, which is keeping this a game for Hofstra.
Well, you can see the effects of Hofstra's shooting is affecting their defense. They're not getting back in transition defense as well, as their heads are down a bit as the 3 ball is not going in for them.
Steve's bullying his way inside. Interesting matchup, to say the least, as they give the foul to Smith there. That's Gustiz is 6'9", 260. Murphy 6'7", 275 pounds. In Indiana State, you got to use it or lose it. You can only carry over 3 of the 4 timeouts, so Greg Lansing will use it. His team up by 13, 38 and 8/10 to go in the first half. Both coaching in the Big 12, and it should be an interesting matchup. A lot of physical play. And, well, speaking of seniors, which Tulsa has a lot of, you got Tanksley on the left, Green on the right, and they have not played for the balance of this half. A lot of the half they've been sitting on the sideline, which is something that Joe Mahalik, not with a lot of depth, probably going into this game did not want to do, and yet he has had to do, as Gustiz has missed all 4 of his free throws.
Hofstra has not made a free throw in this game.
High arcing free throw, sinks through.
Gustiz gets one in, but on the bench, those 2 of Green and Tanksley, 36 points between the 2 of them is what they average. Green has not scored in this game. Tanksley was 6.
Combined 2 of 10, those 2 gentlemen. 30 seconds to go. And here's Brenton Scott for Indiana State, down in their blue, trimmed in white. About an 8-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Andre Walker back on for the Hofstra Pride. Scott, the jump pass to the wing. Smith in trouble, stripped by Bowie, gets it back, goes up with the shot clock, runs out on Indiana State, and they turn it over. So with 8 and 3/10 to go, Indiana State by 12. The Pride will have the ball, looking to cut this lead down. Here comes Bowie, driving by all comers over Murphy. No, but Kuhn taps it in, and that will spell an end to the first half. So a positive note for Hofstra as they go into the halftime locker room. They're 2 big guys saddled with the foul trouble and not a whole lot of offensive production.
Well, we said if Joe Mahalik could survive this half and keep it at 10 points or less, he'd be in great shape. And boy, what a way to make your coach angry. Greg Lansing, that tip in at the end.
Monica Jonigan standing by with Greg Lansing.
Coach, you've managed to shut down these 3-point threats that Hofstra gives, but I saw you're not happy with that last shot on the defensive end for your team.
Well, you're up and you call a timeout. You get a good you need to get a good offensive possession, run the clock down. Then you can't give up. You can't gamble and give up a layup there. So we have a turnover and then they come down and get a bucket. It's not the way you want to end the half. We played awfully hard, but some of those shots are going to go for them in the second half. We have to keep rebounding, push it at them.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Monica. No Green, no Tanksley. It's only a 10-point lead for Indiana State, holding Hofstra to 22 points. The team coming in averaging 89.5 points per game. Stay tuned. AT&T at the half is coming your way next. Indiana State by 10 at the half. getting 17 3-point shots, 3 of 16 in the first half, only 2 of 10 from their 2 big guys, but Christian Smith doing the job for Indiana State.
Well, Christian Smith has got that mid-range pull-up jumper, and then he bangs one in straight on a three-pointer, and now he's going to work the offensive glass. The Sycamores leading rebounder gets a putback. And at the other end, Hakeem Tanksley ran into foul problems, but before, he's able to get a 3 down in transition. And now a little rocker step, rock him to sleep. Banging home, 3 ball, corner pocket.
And looking at the numbers, not a pretty sight for Hofstra, but they haven't gotten anything yet from Green, shooting 26.5%. They're only down 10, Kevin.
But Danny, that's a great point. Only down 10, and I'm sure that's what Coach Mahalik told his team. Hey, the way we play, believe in yourself. And Greg Lansing, I'd be concerned because 10 points is nothing to this team from Hofstra.
Well, Devontae Brown did not start this game, but he does start for Brenton Scott to start the second half. Christian Smith, alley-oop feed off the far side from Clemens, and he'll get straight to the free throw line. Indiana State only shot 4, made all 4 that they attempted from the line in the first half, and the foul against Bernardi will be his first.
A little set play coming out of timeout by Greg Lansing. Tries to get the back screen lob for Christian Smith.
Smith into double figures, first player to claim that feat here tonight. 10 points, came in averaging 12.5 points, 7 rebounds per game. The senior from Indianapolis.
He had 14 against Tulsa last evening.
So there's Wanye Green. And just like that, Hofstra's first possession is a short-lived one as it results in a turnover, and the foul against Green, no less, his 3rd foul. This is for a guy who came in 19.5 points per game. We talked about it all night. The 2nd active leading scoring leader in Division I, 2nd in assists in Division I, and he has not given Joe Mahalik any points here tonight.
Joe Mahalik, he doesn't know whether to be upset with the official or with Wanye Green. But certainly that is going to be hamper their ability to score some points because Wanye Green runs this team.
Green 1,789 points, only DJ Ballantyne with 1,830 from Evansville has more among active Division I players. That shot rims out. The putback by Murphy, no, but tipped in by the guy we highlighted at the half, Christian Smith, who now has 13 points.
Christian Smith has extremely strong hands. We've seen him active on the glass. Crashed the weak side board.
Nice pass dropped off to Gustis, and the foul is called, and well, it's Gustis who's been the one getting to the foul line for Hofstra. All 5 free throws have come from him.
Well, that's because the ball screen Gustis is setting about 17 feet out. Forced Murphy to help. Murphy loses sight. Gustis with a quick dive to the front of the rim. It's got him to the free throw line a number of times.
We've been talking so much about Green's scoring proficiency. I haven't talked a little bit about his passing efficiency. 563 assists. Only Jalen West, the active leader at Northwestern State, with more. And on the other end, Jalen Murphy able to roll it in. Or Brandon Murphy, excuse me. 6 points for him. On the other end, Brian Bernardi. He can't get it to go, and it's tipped out of bounds.
Well, Greg Lansing has got some production from his post players. Murphy and the freshman, Rickman.
That's, by the way, the largest lead of the night for Indiana State, currently at 14 points, and it will be Hofstra basketball. Green looking to inbound. Gets it over the top to Nichols. Defensed by Niels Boonskoten on for Greg Lansing. Well, straight away, Tanksley.
Murphy took a blow to the chest. He's over there next to Greg Lansing trying to catch his breath.
Loose ball on the ground. Green picks it up. Fresh set of digits. Remember, 30 seconds on the shot clock this year. Step back for Kuhn from 20, no. Van Soik throws it away. Green's got it. Indiana State with their 8th turnover of the night. And then Van Soik grabs it as Green's struggles continue. He's now 0 for 4 tonight. And in the passing lane goes Nichols to take it away. Another turnover for Indiana State.
Wanye Green needs something good to happen. He is really struggling with his game.
Bernardi all alone, the trigger man, and he is looking for his first 3-point shot of the night. 0 for 5, 1 of 8 from the floor.
When he couldn't be any more wide open. Little step in 3. Bernardi not able to deliver. He's got to be questioning his jump shot at this point.
Nichols again with a steal, consecutive steals. And he tries to go up the floor with it. And to go to Kuhn, and it's taken away by Devontae Brown. Feeds right side to Christian Smith. Why not? The hot hand for Indiana State with 16 now.
Smith feeling his groove. Now Brown on Wanye Green.
Green rises, looking for his first field goal, and there's a way to get it. Gets his first 3 of the night after he had 6 last night.
Well, a simple ball screen. Indiana State defender on the screener, tardy to react. Green makes him pay.
28 last night, just 7 shy of matching his career high. Takeaway for Kuhn. Here comes Tanksley running up the floor. 3-on-3 right now. Tanksley all the way. Nicely done.
A little in-out move by the senior Tanksley. Greg Lansing's seen enough.
It'll be a full timeout. It's the first timeout of the half. 41-29, 16:55 to go. Indiana State by 12, but Hofstra trying to get back in this one. Trophy in behind him. The winner will be crowned the 15th winner of the men's trophy here in Paradise. Glad to have you back. 41-29 the count. Consolation game. Indiana State on top. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. Indiana State with so much history. 120th year of basketball. It was the school where John Wooden started. You got Larry Bird, 1979. That unlikely run to the championship game where they ran into Magic Johnson and Michigan State. And this is a program that dates really far back, Kevin.
And outside the Holman Center, you have this statue, more than life-size, of Larry Bird with that patent behind his head jump shot.
And Bill Hodges, his first year as the head coach of Indiana State, coached Larry Bird and company to the championship game, one of the greatest runs in college basketball history out of bounds. We mentioned John Wooden, 1946 through 48, and one of the legendary stories in college basketball, had opted to go from Indiana State to Minnesota, was waiting for the phone call from the athletic director. Smith's shot no good. The snowstorm hits Minnesota. The phone call doesn't come. Instead, he gives his word to UCLA. And in Westwood, the rest is history there.
Greg Lansing has carried on the great tradition. His first 4 years, he took his team to postseason play. Didn't make it last year. They are hungry to get back to the postseason. He's got 3 seniors back from a team that finished 3rd in the Valley.
Yeah, Lansing took Indiana State to the tournament his first year, 2011. And that was only the second ever Indiana State head coach to do that in his first year other than Hodges. Shot for Green, rattles out, and the rebound is taken by Burnett. Clemens up the floor for the Sycamores.
And then he had a point guard, Jake Odom, who had a triple-double in his career at Indiana State and led the Sycamores to the NCAA tournament as a freshman.
Second foul against Nichols. Remember, these two teams are bound in a sense. The only tournament win since that 1979 team for Indiana State was 2001 when the 13-seed Indiana State knocked off Oklahoma. That 0-1 tournament significant because it was the last tournament appearance for Hofstra. We got a foul on the other side. This is going to lead to another turnover for Indiana State. It's 41-29. Sycamores on top. Take a timeout. Be back with more right after this. State Spartans at 3:30, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. A look at the MAC standings. Yep, it is tight, folks. Northern Illinois and Toledo, each 6-1. Western Michigan and Central Michigan, 5-2. And Western Michigan and Toledo will meet right here on CBS Sports Network. Friday, noon Eastern. Do not miss the action.
And right before that timeout, we had Amit Tanksley pick up his third foul. So you have Wanya Green and Tanksley both with 3 fouls.
Christian Smith, three-pointer long. I know Indiana State has shot 46% for the game, still not able to pull away. Ball knocked out of bounds, and they have a plus 16 advantage, Kevin, on the glass.
Well, Nichols has tried to counteract that for Hofstra as he has worked the boards hard. Gusti's taking a rest on the bench. And again, the soft 1-3-1 zone.
Christian Smith, 16 points to lead Indiana State, 8 for Tanksley to pace Hofstra. It's the zone, Indiana State operating. Danny Lee, Kevin Lehman, Monica Jonigan, consolation game at the 2015 Paradise Jam with the title game to follow at 9 Eastern between Tulsa, South Carolina. 6 on the shot clock. Burnett into the corner, jump shot good, and Christian Smith is feeling it.
But Indiana State dodged the ball. They did not attack that zone very well. You have to dribble it at a white jersey. Don't stay in the gaps. But Christian Smith swung underneath, out of sight, scored it.
And speaking of all the three-point shooting, don't forget Smith was a guy last year who went 9 for 9 from three-point range a year ago, early on in the season. He got the third foul now against Amandre Rickman.
Well, the shot clock running down, and comes Smith stepping out from the short corner, found the gap. Boy, he is feeling his groove right now. Number 1 in the blue, Christian Smith. And I'm looking at the body language of Wanya Green. It is not good. He's got his head down somewhat. You know, he's a quiet player, but he has to lead this team back.
Well, we saw him last night on a cutaway. He was sitting on the scores table at the end of that game. He really didn't come out against South Carolina. Green defensed, misses short. Tanksley His backcourt mate can't get it to go. Grabs a rebound, goes up over Boone-Skoton and draws the foul.
Thankfully, strong as new rope. He just muscles that into the basket. Watch this great second effort. Gets his own miss. Absorbs the blow. Able to finish.
8 of 17 at the line this season, but he does knock down the free throw. 11 points for Hofstra, which is the deficit they currently face. Just under 14 and a half minutes to go here.
Now, if Hofstra can get that free ball going, get the hot hand, get Bernardi untracked. Only 11-point deficit, lots of time left. And Indiana State struggling against this 1-3-1 soft trap.
With possession, Brenton Scott. 6 on the shot clock for Brown. No seam to find. Scott, the hurried 3, off the mark. Wheeling in the rebound is Denton Kuhn, number 12 for Hofstra.
Well, Indiana State doing their attack against the zone is exactly what Joe Mahalik wants. They're playing in the gaps.
Hanksley only 4 for 13 today after that miss. On the move is Devontae Brown. Can't get it to go, but draws the foul against Bernardi.
Boone-Skoton with an excellent block at the other end to start that transition. Take a look at the junior here. Great timing. It's a piece of it. Tips it to his teammate. Brown able to start the fast break. We talked about Indiana State's ability to score points from their defense.
Preseason All-Conference honorable mention Devontae Brown. Started in the half but did not start the game. 3 points today. He was a second-team All-Conference in the Missouri Valley Conference's most improved player a year ago when he averaged 12 points a game.
Well, and a huge sigh of relief from that young man as he has had struggles from the free throw line.
Free throw good. And Indiana State is a perfect 7 of 7 at the line.
And Brown 6 of 15 from the charity stripe yesterday.
It was not a good exhibition for Lansing's bunch. Bowie goes up against Boone-Skoton. Can't get it to go. And the rebound taken by Everett Clemens running the show.
Boone-Skoton is very active. And all the postmen for Indiana State, all 3 of them that Greg Lansing has used have made their presence felt in the paint defensively.
Hofstra trying to make their move now, but the pass from Kuhn to Tanksy squirts right through his hands. And still Hofstra struggling on the offensive end.
Well, that pressure defense that Indiana State is known for leads to a dead ball turnover.
Boy, this is tough for Joe Mahalik when you have your 2 guys, 2 leading scorers doing the bulk of the scoring for your squad. They're both on the bench and both struggling from the floor. You wonder, with 9 guys on the roster, where the production's going to come from. Clemens misses. Nichols grabs a rebound. Here come the Pride. Jer Bowie.
And Nichols not known as a shooter. You get Devontae Brown mashed up on Green.
Green 1 for 8 today.
Well, there's what he does. Little hesitation. Boone-Skoton tardy on the screen. Green ever to kiss one off the glass.
Wanye Green with 5 points in the contest.
Now Hofstra only down by 11. They need to make a stop here, Danny. You need to get into that single digits. That's only 3 trifectas for the team in white if they can make a stop on this possession and go down and score.
Brown to Boone-Skoton for 3. Well, off the mark, but Hofstra once again struggling on the offensive glass. That ball didn't hit the rim, so it's a shot clock violation.
Big possession here for Hofstra. Greg Lansing just shakes his head. His team is a little out of sync offensively, and he knows if Wanye Green gets his game going, watch out.
Denton Kuhn the reverse, and he makes it over Niels Boone-Skoton. Nice play for the graduate transfer from Liberty, Missouri. Makes it a 9-point game, and Denton Kuhn putting on the moves on Niels Boone-Skoton to make it a single-digit lead. morning, and the old basketball coach was doing shuffling drills in the pool. I have to admire your determination.
That new hip replacement. Do little sideways shuffles to get her in shape. Boy, missed opportunity there by Kuhn. And this is a danger area here for Indiana State as this lead has got to single digits. Hofstra with the ability to come back quick with the three ball. You know Bernardi's going to get it going sooner than later.
Off balance is Brown, and a whistle, and a foul is going to be called. Looks like Nichols is slow to get up.
I don't know if it was a foul. I think Nichols caught his own block going out of bounds. It may be possession under the basket to Indiana State.
And it looks like you are right indeed. That shot by Brown hit under the basket. Now Nichols still hunched over. Checking on him is Raymond Stiens, lead referee of this group. He's okay to go, and it'll stay with Indiana State. Clemens, Brown, Van Soik, Scott, and Murphy, they're 5. The Sycamores with their blue uniforms. Brown underneath again and draws the foul. And with Bowie reaching out and committing his second foul of the night.
Well, Indiana State perfect from the free throw line tonight. And they struggled mightily against Tulsa, 14 of 27. And most of these teams did not go into the gym today to save their legs. But what a change for the Sycamores at the charity stripe.
9 of 9 now after Devontae Brown's make. He's got 5 points, came in as the leading scorer at 15 points per game. As mentioned, just a shade over 50% yesterday in the loss to Tulsa. It's an 11-point game again as they stay perfect at the stripe. Doing an about face here tonight, and Hofstra still looking to get that offense going. 36 points for a team that came in at almost 90 per.
And Wanya Green has just not been very involved in this offense.
And Bernardi has struggled. Tanksley has struggled from the floor. Green off balance, fouled, and that's going to be 3 shots after Brown reaches in and commits his 3rd foul.
Well, Brown got caught going underneath the screen when Green was in range and tried to recover out. Green has that ability to draw contact, and leans in, strong upper body.
Wanye was 6, as we've been talking about, 6th most free throws made and attempted last season. Comes into today 75% free throw shooter, makes his first 2. One more coming from the 5th-year senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Triple-double last year. He had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists against LIU Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. First triple-double in program history, first triple-double in Barclays Center history as well. And he was one of 14 players in Division I with a triple-double a year ago. All right, so now it's an 8-point game. Indiana State starting to feel the heat. See if that doesn't turn things for Hofstra's offense. Devontae Brown under pressure, matched up with Nichols. Nichols trying to take it away again, but boy, going into this tournament, Joe Mahalik talked about how important Nichols' defense is to his team. Best defender on the squad, how the team feeds off his defense, and he's showing it here today.
And he embraces the defensive end. Now, he is the point man on this extended 1-3-1. Long reach, he makes it difficult to get ball reversals.
And this one's tapped away by Tanksley. Goes to the aforementioned Nichols down the lane. What a play! And a chance for a 3-point play now for Nichols.
Now, we talked about danger zone for Indiana State a minute and a half ago. It's ringing true. Look at these active hands by Tanksley. Nichols picks it up, and you got to stop him at the point of attack. Nichols going right down Main Street.
5-0 run. Now make it 6-0 for Hofstra as they pull to within 5 points of the Sycamores.
And Bernardi still has not gotten on track. If he gets that 3-ball going, watch out.
Devontae Brown.
This 1-3-1 has got the Sycamores playing around the edge.
Oh, you can't leave Christian Smith wide open, and he rises to the opportunity. Christian Smith now with 20 points tonight.
Well, he's been able to find the holes behind the defenders, out of their vision. And Green starting to heat up.
Wanye Green all of a sudden into double figures as Christian Smith hits 20 for the first time this season. He had 4 20 or more games last year.
And we talked about these teams playing last night.
Nearly another alley-oop. Van Soik from the corner.
Now
Rebound Bernardi.
In the second half here, we got a pace, faster pace. You can see that these players have loosened up, and Green doing what Wanye Green does.
That's your Philly style play right down the middle and making the highlights in the process. 49-46, Indiana State on fire and rolling in this one as they continue their run. 13-2 to pull to within 3. How do you do, Wanye Green?
And Jacob Boonschoten, they've come all the way from the Netherlands to see their son play. They've never been to the Virgin Islands before, but you went to Texas when he was in a junior college, is that right?
That's right, in Big Spring, Texas.
In Big Spring, Texas. So what are you thinking of Indiana State right now? Are they going to be able to survive this surge that the Hofstra Pride are giving them?
Well, I hope so. If you compare it to the last game, they won't, but yeah. Well, they've got a real good defending team, so they should be able to survive it.
You said you saw Hofstra play against Florida State, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And they're a good team.
So how are you enjoying the Virgin Islands? It's a long way from the Netherlands.
It's a long way, but, well, you get away from the snow and the rain. Well, you feel pretty good here. Yeah.
It is a nice place, Danny. They're just like these 45 or 50 or so sycamores fleeing 3 inches of snow back home here in the Virgin Islands.
Well, Monica, I was just impressed by your pronunciation of those Dutch names.
Oh, yes, I have a Dutch phrase. Het is een mooie dag vandaag.
Yeah. Same to you, I guess. 3-pointer. Good for Indiana State, but just before then, a 15-2 run to pull within 1 for Hofstra. It's now a 4-point game.
Brenton Scott with the answer. But both teams definitely have picked up the pace here in the second half after a very slow start to this game.
Hofstra's made its last 6 shots. Nichols in the lane. Spins out of his hand. Kuhn wrestles the ball away. And boy, Denton Kuhn has been huge in this game.
He is so active on the offensive glass. If he cannot secure the rebound, he does a phenomenal job of tipping it out to a teammate. That was a nice pickup. 5th-year graduate transfer. And we talk about the age of this Hofstra team. They've got 3 seniors that are 5th-year guys. They have 2 juniors or 4-year guys as they've redshirted.
It's the 4th foul against Devontae Brown. And Joe Mihalik has had graduate transfers his first year at Hofstra. A couple years ago, he had Zeke Upshaw transfer from Illinois State. He had only 90 points in his first 3 years at Illinois State. Comes to Hofstra, 655 points, leads the Colonial in scoring. And then last couple of years, Dion Nesmith, who started off playing football at Northeastern, they dropped the program. He goes to Monmouth for 2 years and then comes to Hofstra for his final 2 years and scores in double figures in each of those 2 years. So he has been the beneficiary of that experience that those graduate transfers bring, taking advantage of the rule to be able to transfer without sitting out the year if you've graduated with your bachelor's degree.
Yeah, checking the waiver wire every spring so he can pick up. And that this defense has really stifled Indiana State's attack.
It's a 2-point game. Indiana State once led by 14. 5 in the shot clock, 4 in the corner. Brenton Scott, big 3-pointer.
You've really got 2 guys you need to guard that perimeter in the zone. Brenton Scott being one and Christian Smith with the hot hand.
Oh, Wanye Green starting things up. 15 points all of a sudden.
Wanye Green has a certain demeanor about him. has no expression whether things are going good or bad.
And all of Wanye Green's 15 points have come after halftime, no less. It's a 2-point Indiana State lead. Over on the wing, losing possession, Smith. Van Soik from 23. That just rolls out, and Bernardi grabs a rebound, a chance for Hofstra. Can you believe this? They've struggled, but they can either tie or take the lead. It's Green taking it to the teeth of the beast. Nichols back up. And after the break, Hofstra can tie this one at the foul line with 7:03 to go. He's got a good one. Hofstra heating up. Don't miss the pride. And the Sycamores after this. Wanye Green, one of 2 active players at Division I with 1,500 points plus, 300 assists plus. The only other guy is Jalen West of Northwestern State.
And also at the line, number 0, Malik Nichols, a huge lift for the Pride as he has attacked the glass relentlessly. 11 rebounds for Hofstra.
6 points tonight to go with those 11 rebounds. And he's had a number of deflections and a steal on the defensive end as well, off the front rim.
Importantly, Nichols has stayed out of foul trouble. It's allowed Gustis to stay on the bench, and Nichols been effective as the 5 spot.
Hofstra has led for all of 15 seconds in this game, and they're within 1 point. Brenton Scott against Bernardi, shuffles to the baseline, fades over Bernardi. Not there, and Hofstra can take its first lead since the early stages of this game. The last time they had a lead was at 16:53 of the first half.
Now Christian Smith, the anchor of the Sycamore defense, locked onto Green.
Bernardi whips it underneath to Kuhn, and it's just the second lead of the game, the first since 2-0. As Denton Kuhn now with 7, and Hofstra, would you believe it, down 14 in this ball game. Indiana State now leading by 1.
Well, we talk about Bernardi's ability to shoot the 3 ball. He has a great court awareness and an exceptional passer.
And actually, they led by as many as 17 at Indiana State. Big run here, but Burnett answers, and it's now back on top for Indiana State as the lead changes hands. Wanye Green off the dribble, short. Rebound taken by Van Soik. Indiana State basketball. The Sycamores Scott flips it out wide to Christian Smith, the 20-point scorer, to lead all scorers in this game. They'll pull it back and work a little bit of clock.
Christian Smith wisely brings it out. He wants to slow the pace down. Coach Lansing doesn't want Hofstra to keep this onslaught going downhill toward their direction.
And Burnett runs over Tanksley to draw the offensive foul.
Well, what a gutsy move by Tanksley. He's playing with 3 fouls. Slides. It's in front of Burnett. Burnett a bit surprised, but again, we talk about the new rules, and a lot of them have led to for the offense to be more effective, but it's also protected defenders that are in legal guarding position, as Tanksley was there.
We told you the cautionary note as Bernardi just saves it at halftime. Hofstra had only 22 points, but they were only down 10 despite their shooting woes. Now Nichols with the takeaway. Who else? Coming down the lane, but he throws off Christian Smith is going to be whistled for an offensive foul.
Well, Nichols gets the foul as he pushes Christian Smith off. The loose ball. Bernardi in the action again, and watch Nichols now. A little acting job by Christian Smith, but he gets the call. Nichols picks up another foul. That's his 3rd.
Nichols' second year in Hempstead, New York, which is about 30-35 minutes from New York City proper, Manhattan. Spent his first 2 years at South Plains College in Texas before transferring to Hofstra.
Well, Hofstra has attacked the rim here in the second half. They have 18 points in the lane.
Van Soik, Christian Smith rises over Kuhn. It's a 2-pointer, but it's good for points number 21 and 22 as Christian Smith feeling it here today.
Oh, silky smooth release by the senior.
8 of 13 from the floor, just over 4 minutes to go. Hofstra trailing by 3. They trail by as many as 17. Kuhn trying to even this game. He does just that. After a huge 3-point shooting performance from Hofstra yesterday, 17 of 34, just the 6th make in 21 tries, but a very timely 3-point shot as it evens this game up with 4:08 to go. Stick around for the conclusion. Then struggling in the first half, doing well in the second thanks to Wanye Green's 15 points. 3-point shooting has not been as strong as we've seen, and this one's tight to the finish.
But Danny, because Indiana State has locked down those 3-point shooters like Bernardi, it has allowed points in the paint for Hofstra. They've been able to drive and been very effective getting to the rim.
Let's not forget Denton Kuhn in the shooting performance that has not been anything to write home about for Hofstra. 13 points on 5 of 8 shooting. Also 7 rebounds for Denton, who's had a nice tournament as well.
And Hofstra with their zone again. As Joe Mahalik told us, your zone defense is only as good as the other team's zone offense. This zone defense has been very effective.
Caused fits for the Sycamores to be sure. Brenton Scott give away his dribble. Good defense from Denton Kuhn, 10 on the shot clock.
Now there's a soft spot there in the middle of the zone. All zones have it along the free throw line. Indiana State been playing around the edge, trying to score on the baseline against this zone.
Scott gets it back, rises from 3 off the front rim, and Denton Kuhn skies for the rebound, his 8th rebound of the game. 3.5 minutes to go.
Well, I just love Denton Kuhn. Basketball IQ. He is in the right place at all times.
Kuhn runs into the defender, but it's going to be a blocking foul. They're going to say Christian Smith did not have position, and that'll be his 2nd foul, and that is number 10 against Indiana State, so the double bonus for Hofstra.
You see this play quite often by teams now, that they're going to do a screen to screener and a sweep, quick sweep move into the defender before he's set, gets it to the free throw line.
Denton this year 15 of 18 at the line. We mentioned he missed all of 2015 with Princeton with a knee injury. This year, his first action since January of 2014. He suffered that knee injury his junior year there. And now they're wiping up a wet spot on the floor in front of the Indiana State bench, leading to the impasse. So it's a 59-59 contest with Hofstra an opportunity at the line to take back the lead. Look at Joe Mahalik counseling his team, fighting back down 17. And boy, people are going to take notice of this Hofstra team if they haven't already. Preseason pick to win the Colonial after last season. What a tough ending for Joe Mahalik's team. They got to the conference semifinals, went up against William and Mary. Double overtime, they had the lead, and then with 0.8 of a second left, William and Mary's Daniel Dixon hits the 3-pointer, all but ending their hopes of winning the conference championship in a 1-bid league to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2001. They did make it on to the CBI, but that's a loss that still stings with this bunch.
And Joe, you can tell Joe really likes this team. He talks about they know their identity. They play to their strengths, and they believe in one another.
Denton back to the line, studying. They got his MBA in sports and entertainment management as a graduate student. Now with 11 points. He had a brother, Derek, who played Division II football at Truman State in Missouri, an All-American no less.
Well, this Hofstra team was running in mud in the first half, and now they have now taken a 2-point lead.
So now with 14 to go with those 7 rebounds.
They're staying in that zone with the big man, number 0, the long wingspan up top.
19-point switch in this game as Hofstra's taken the lead, and the second half efforts of that man, Wanye Green, preseason conference player of the year in the CAA.
Look at the wingspan of Nichols up on top of the 1-3-1 zone.
Brown in the corner, matched up nicely with Bernardi. Burnett on his way to the hoop. No, grabbing the rebound, Tanksley. 3 minutes to go, and Hofstra trying to secure a victory here for their second win of the weekend.
Now, body language for Indiana State not good right now. They are doubting themselves that they've struggled at the offensive end against the zone.
Green goes up, draws the foul, and a 3-point play opportunity.
Upper body strength by the senior from Philly. He's able to create contact, and what a move this is. Not only to create the contact, he finishes with his left hand. Great body control. Concentration, eye on the prize.
18 total, and what an accomplishment. He's trying to chase down to score 1,000 points at 2 different schools. Did it at Niagara with Joe Mahalik, 2 years, 1,131 points, kickball, and he's got 676 points and counting now.
Well, the big difference in the second half has been Malik Nichols at the top of this zone. Look how active he is out there. Long wingspan, really creating havoc.
6 unanswered for Hofstra. Corner 3 not there for Christian Smith. And Hofstra slowing down the pace, now up by 5.
And you actually have an Indiana State team now playing without a center It's all perimeter players that are trying to find some offense against the zone.
Green misses the layup, but look at that persistence. Grabs his own rebound, and there were no white shirts back. 4 blue jerseys, and he still gets it.
This is a big possession for both squads. Green bets ball on a string.
Green, Nichols, Tanksley, Bernardi, and Kuhn, the 5. Nichols takes it back. Oh, what a play by Malik Nichols, and that makes it a 7-point lead for Hofstra.
Devontae Brown actually had that ball in his hands.
Brenton Scott makes a big 3. 3 3-pointers for Brenton Scott, and the last 2 have been huge for them from Scott. So a 4-point lead for Hofstra. Now what does Indiana State need to do? This is a game they don't want to see get away. They had a 17-point lead in this contest. They saw Tulsa yesterday rally back, and now Hofstra doing everything on the floor right now.
Nichols picks a pocket, gets a little offense by accident. And then Scott, who plays with amnesia. He never worries about his last miss. Brenton Scott, the reigning Valley freshman of the year, now a sophomore, has knocked in some long-range bombs against the zone. But if you're Indiana State, it's a difficult task because you've got to keep the ball out of Green's hands, and that is almost impossible to do. Once he gets it, you're going to see some ball screens. You're going to try to get Green going downhill if you're Hofstra. So Indiana State has to be very aggressive with their hedge man guarding the screener to stop Green from getting into the lane.
Brenton Scott, the breakout year a season ago, redshirted his first year at Indiana State. In high school, even played in the shadow of his twin brother, who now plays at Purdue. Shown last season, and now having to play largely off the bench this year, though he did start today, put in those 12 points. So it's a 66-62 score in favor of Hofstra. Just a minute 40 remaining. A game that has gone back and forth, and Wanye Green, though he shrugged off that slow start, 15 points. He and Tanksley, 28 points, and doing it on 10 of 28 shooting, so not the most aesthetically pleasing for Joe Mihalik's team, but getting the job done late, and that's the most important thing here.
There's something you said for winning ugly. Again, now, Indiana State playing without a center. Basically, he's got 5 perimeter players on the court. It's paid off with a steal.
Hofstra wasn't ready out of the timeout. Smith flips it back to Scott. Here he goes again to the hoop. Draws the foul, and a chance for the Sycamores to pull closer. As we talked about, 10 of 10 at the line. They have not missed from the foul line. 3rd foul against Bernardi.
Well, the full court pressure paid off for Indiana State. Now Scott a chance to score with the clock stopped. That's huge when you have a deficit here in the last minute 34.
Fort Wayne, Indiana native. That makes it a 2-point game, a much different story. Indiana State struggling from the foul line yesterday, perfect 12 of 12 today. Minute 30 to go.
Well, how strange that is from the line. One day you can't make them, today they don't miss. Now, the keys to the bus in the hands of number 1, Wanye Green.
Green going to the right against Scott, goes up. Blocked by Christian Smith. Devontae Brown the rebound up ahead. There comes Clemens, goes up and draws the foul against Tanksley. That's number 4.
There's one of the problems you have, your Hofstra, with a point guard as dominant as Green. He's driving to the hoop. If he doesn't score, you have a long rebound like that, you have no defensive balance. Indiana State with a 2-on-1 fast break.
Devontae Brown finding Clemens. He's at the line now, and that's the first miss of the night for the Sycamores. Junior from Springfield, Illinois.
That's going to be real important to see how the team in blue here, the Sycamores, handle the ball screens for Wanye Green. They're going to switch, going to hedge. Brenton Scott draws the assignment
Clemens
on Green.
got a foul, 5 of 15 at the line this season now. Under a minute to go. And Hofstra leading 66-64 over Indiana State. Wanye Green, guy you want with the ball if you're a
double high
Hofstra
screen.
fan.
Got the switch they wanted.
5 on the shot clock. Green step back, foot on the line. Air ball. Saved, but it goes to Christian Smith. Ahead to Burnett. Burnett drops it off underneath. Rolls over his man Bernardi, and are they going to say Bernardi was inside the arc? And Burnett down. And they're going to say an offensive foul, so adding insult to the injury right now.
Waiting for Bernardi to make a play. He's there. It's clearly outside of it.
Bernardi
keeps set.
Taking one for the team.
Burnett left the game. He banged up his right elbow.
Missed last year with a Lisfranc injury after getting rear-ended in a fender bender on the I-70 before the season began. Bernardi better get across midcourt. He throws it away. Goes to Laquarius Page. Smith down the lane, and he misses. Denton Kuhn tied up, and they'll be marching to the opposing foul line for free throws, and that's a big opportunity for Indiana State by the boards.
Now Smith slipped on the sweat from that last collision and lost his balance on that shot. Greg Lansing asking, where was the foul? And the contact of my man going to the hoop, and now Denton Kuhn at the line. See his left foot slide just a bit. As he comes in there, and there's the battle for the rebound.
First foul on Laquarius Page, so important free throws here for Scott. 2 of 3 at the line tonight. Matt Van Soik returns. Page comes out. Grant Prusader comes in for Indiana State, the three-point shooter.
The offense for defense. Greg Lansing's substitution pattern.
It's the guy you want at the foul line, 87%.
Now if I'm Hofstra, I believe they're going to have to go man-to-man, not the zone that they've been using.
They send 4 guys back off the line, and Kuhn misses them both. So a 2-point game with 15 seconds to go. Down the lane, Brown lays it up and draws the foul. Count the bucket, and a chance for Indiana State to take back the lead.
The Sycamores with a simple spread. Give it to your senior. Crossover. Tastes all the tin and drops through the nylon.
Sycamores once led this game by 17. Devontae Brown good tonight, but on the season only 56%, and it drops through for him.
Well, the senior did not get the start. Greg Lansing want to see how he responded. We have the answer. Devontae Brown making huge plays for the Sycamores.
A 1-point game for Indiana State with 8.9 seconds to go, and both teams, Kevin, are all out of timeouts. What's the play here for Hofstra?
Well, and that's part of the new rules. Each team has 1 less. That's 2 that you're not going to get in the second half. You're going to put the hands in your preseason all-league player, Wanya Green. But Devontae Brown, the senior, did not get the start today. Greg Lansing wanted to see how he responded. Boy, he got the defender back on his heels, creates contact, soft touch, and now here's the man right there, Wanye Green. It's going to go in his hands. It's going to be a ball screen. Indiana State wants to keep him from going downhill. And don't forget the three-point bomber. Burnett has been quiet the entire game.
Yeah, Bernardi just 2 points, 1 of 9 shooting. Green, no points at halftime. He's the leading scorer for Hofstra, so you have to know, and we talked with Greg Lansing before the game. He knows full well about the potential for Green, never letting up on him throughout the game, even when he has gone off here in the second half. So certainly another guy to look out for, and Bernardi as well. And Christian Smith, the big scorer, number 1, 22 points for Indiana State.
Smith is the leader of this defense, along with Devontae Brown. See who gets the assignment. You got Scott on Bernardi, Devontae Brown on Green.
Bernardi, Tanksley, Kuhn, Nichols, and Green inbounding the ball. Nearly slipped out of the hands of Nichols. Here comes Green. 5 seconds. Green mid-post shot. Well short. Nichols grabs it. Tied up. Held ball. It's going to stay with Hofstra. And the clock says 9/10 of a second left.
And no timeouts left. So Joe Mahalik has to have practiced this situation. Oh, we do have one.
It looks like there is a timeout remaining, so they'll talk about it. 9/10 of a second, still enough time to catch and shoot. And now the referee's going to go over to the monitor to see how much time should be remaining. The clock here says 9/10 of a second. And the officials Raymond Steins and Nathan Farrell are at midcourt reviewing when the held ball occurred, when the whistle came, and to see if there should be time added to the clock.
Now, a lot of times you'll have a play here in your arsenal where you're going to have a postman screen and then spin back to the front of the rim, and you can lob it up to him and look for the tap in or to draw the foul. But Wanya Green a little off balance, great defense. Doesn't get a clean look, and now we're trying to see how much time is left.
Looks like maybe around a second and a half or so should be put on the clock. That would give Hofstra more than enough time.
Yeah, it's important now whether you need to do a tip.
Well, let's see where the referees make the call right about there. So actually, well, we'll see. It's when they make the signal is what they're looking for. So perhaps a couple tenths, but that's what Hofstra needs right now. Any time that can be added in there is going to say 1.2 seconds.
Well, Brian Bernardi with a quick release could still come off of multiple staggered screens and catch and shoot.
That's the guy Indiana State's certainly going to be concerned about. Brian Bernardi has not gone on track tonight. So 1.2 seconds to go. Hofstra down by a point. Wanya Green will be inbounding this ball. Let's see who he goes to. Green over the top he goes. Catch and shoot for Tanksley does not go. And Indiana State runs out of paradise with a nail-biting win, 67-66 in the consolation game in the Paradise Jam.
A slow start, Danny, but what an exciting finish as these teams battled for that third-place trophy.
Greg Lansing, sigh of relief. 17-point lead blown. Hofstra took the lead, went up, but they were not able to hold on to it as the Sycamores rallied and come away with a win to improve their record to 3-2. And a look at the final play as Hofstra was trying to tie it up on the inbound. Well, actually, this is Indiana State here. It's Christian Brown, the big scorer here tonight.
It takes it right at